Here we have a 2021 Ninja 650, also known as an EX650. We're going to be doing an oil change today using the Factory Racing Parts oil change kit. Tools that we will be using will be a oil filter pliers, a 4mm Allen wrench, flathead screwdriver, and a 17mm wrench. Now that we've warmed up the engine, we're going to go ahead and drop the oil. The drain bolt is right down here on the lower left side, just in front of the gear shifter. There's nothing really that needs to be removed to get at it. We're just going to situate these hoses out of the way, and then we can go ahead and take our drain bolt out using our 17mm wrench.
Yeah, but you don't want a wide belly, you don't want a huge tire.
Just want to take it out slowly, just in case there is sometimes there's a heavy burst stream of oil coming out. Okay, so the next step is we're going to be removing the oil filter. In order to do that, we need to make some room to get at it. So we're going to be using our 4mm Allen wrench to remove this lower right fairing out of the way. And then use our flathead screwdriver to remove the clips. And the one underneath. Doing the one-handed trick here. Now, that'll remove this out of the way enough to get in here at our oil filter. There's not really enough room to get in there with a typical oil filter socket. There might be some out there that are shallow enough to do it, but mine, the one I have, does not. So I have these nice pliers that should get in there, like so. And firm grip. Just kind of inch it along. This is the first service on this bike, so oil filters tend to be a little bit more snug. Yeah. That should do it. And this will leak all over the pipes, so we will be using brake clean to clean that up. The next step will be to replace the drain bolt washer with the new one that's provided in the oil change kit. And we're also going to be replacing the oil filter with the Factory Racing Parts filter. I have added, I filled the filter about halfway with oil, and I've also applied oil to the gasket. That is so that we have a nice smooth seal as it goes back together. And then the reason that we replaced the drain bolt washer is two reasons. First, it provides, obviously it seals the drain bolt itself, but it also provides a torque cushion. Kind of helps keep you from over torquing the drain bolt itself. So go ahead and get that torqued. Drain bolts don't require a whole lot of torque. It's good enough right there. We're going to take our oil filter. Move the fairing out of the way. And install our filter. Now, to tighten a filter that's like this in a tight, precarious spot like that, can't really get a oil filter socket on there, and you don't want to crush it with the new pliers. So what I like to do is I'm going to clean the filter with some brake clean, and then I'm just going to get that filter as tight as I can by hand. Got the new oil filter tight after I was able to get everything cleaned up and get a good grip on the filter. It does not need to be that tight, just as snug as you can get it by hand, maybe just a little bit more. So here I have just over, just about 2.5 quarts, although we know that according to our service manual, or owner's manual, this bike takes 1.9 quarts with the filter being changed. So I will have a little bit left over in this spout, but I do have the 1040 synthetic oil that is provided in the factory racing parts kit. So we're going to go ahead and fill this up, and we're going to keep filling it up until it's just past that top line. That's going to be until we start the bike for the first time and cycle that oil. Okay. Our oil level is showing just past full. We're overfilled at this point, but we get to start the bike, so that's okay, because the oil filter will soak up some of that oil, even though we did fill up the filter with oil ahead of time. But the next step is to go ahead and start the bike. And once we get it started, we're going to be checking for leaks, and obviously to make sure that we have oil circulation through the window. Do have to warn you ahead of time, this bike does have an aftermarket exhaust, so it is going to be a little loud. So the bike's had a few minutes to sit after running and circulating oil for the first time. This is where oil level is at, which isn't bad. I'm going to add just a little bit to bring that up to the second line. Do not want to go above that line at this point, because at this point the bike will be considered to be overfilled with anything above that line. You do want to make sure the bike is level. This bike is on a lift, so it makes it easy. If you're doing this at home on the ground, you can use a couple of blocks of wood to place underneath your side stand to get the bike a little bit closer to level. So there you have it. Oil change on a 2021 Ninja 650 utilizing the factory racing parts oil change kit. Thank you.